and collective privilege to talk about a sector of society that is probably the most underrepresented: animals. After all, they can't vote, they can't donate to campaigns, stage protest rallies, or conduct initiatives. So why should we care about animals? But to think about it, when the great flood was coming, sino ang dinala ni Noah sa arko? Animals. God instructed Noah to take 2 of every kind of animal on the ark in order to save them and propagate their species. When it comes to animal welfare, I know that the Senate is a multipositan body. I don't think it will stay. Sorry, medyo hindi sanay sa spotlight. Okay, so no body shaming din tayo dito. Anyway, so anyone who raises the issue here is not barking up the wrong tree. Tignan nyo naman ang ating mga kasamahan dito, kasama ang kanilang mga alaga. So, while many of us here would growl at witnesses during investigations and hearings, we do not hesitate to grovel before our pets when they summon us to play. Indeed, animals have always had a special place in human society and history. For instance, the book Dogs in Philippine History presents numerous artwork and pictures of Filipinos and their dogs, such as the Philippine Constabulary officer in pre-war Cordillera, a U.S. soldier with his Aspen after the liberation of Manila from the Japanese, and even Rizal's execution with a dog as a sad witness. Farm animals, particularly the Philippine livestock industry, is a vital component in the country's agricultural sector. It has been reported that in 2019, the Philippine livestock sector's gross output value was 328.1 billion pesos. This amounted to about 18.23% of the gross output value in agriculture. But animals are not just ingredients for your drive-through meals. In fact, they provide many fundamental and important uses. Horses are still used as primary modes of transportation. Carabaos are the backbone of local farming. Canine dogs assist law enforcement officers, while guide dogs help the blind explore the world. Cats and rabbits have helped humans heal through animal therapy, and many brave Aspens have served as local guardians of Filipino homes. By the way, a recent study reported that single women would choose their dog over a man. Well, itaas ang kamay ng mga single dyan. Can we blame them? Married women actually might do the same. Today, 2 in 3 Filipino households own a pet, and whether furry or feathered, are showered with tender, loving care. The members of this chamber are no exceptions. I myself have several beloved pet dogs and even a tortoise, and who consider as part of our family. And just between us, they are actually sometimes more loving and more behaved than my actual kids. No. Actually, nakikita nyo, behave nga sila tayo. Daldal dito kanina. Habang nagsasalita ako, sila nakaupo lang. Sadly, despite their worth and value to human society and the existence of laws criminalizing cruelty to animals, many of them are still maltreated, neglected, and even tortured. Today, we have here Coffee and Bear Brand. Yung si Coffee may taga dito sa ulo, si Bear Brand naman, naputulan na ng paa. At meron din dala ang biyaya na naka-wheelchair na aso. They basically spent for that. Thank you, Rina. Mr. President, paano ba nating dapat ratuin ang mga hayop? Livestock, as mentioned, is often been trumpeted as a billion-a-day industry. But the problem with highlighting the bottom line is that it can be a built-in excuse to treat without ethics the animals that are crucial for our survival. Occupying the top of the food chain does not give us the license to handle animals with barbarity. Because if such is how we treat them, then we lose our humanity. We abdicate our God-given role as their stewards. Just a few months ago, it was reported that the Philippine Animal Welfare Society, PAWS, is now taking steps in filing a case of animal cruelty against a security guard who was caught on video throwing a puppy from a pedestrian bridge. Hindi lahat ng security guards ganyan. Marami nga sa kanila, bantay nila, kasama nila magbantay ang mga aso. Pero ito, ganun ang nangyari. Animal abuse can be committed not just by extreme violence or torturing for sadistic pleasure, but also through simple neglect and abandonment. One of the issues that has been the cause and effect of neglect is the overpopulation of homeless animals. Mr. President, this situation has led to an urgent problem. Rabies in humans is on the rise. Rabies is endemic or constantly prevalent in the entire archipelago. The Philippines is, in fact, ranked number 6 among countries with the highest rabies incidence in the world. It is timely then that March is Rabies Awareness Month, which makes this the best time to shed light on rabies in humans, in animals, and other animal welfare issues. It has long been agreed upon by health workers that in order to eradicate rabies in humans, we must eradicate rabies in animals, keep our neighborhoods stray-free, and implement effective animal control. The question, of course, is whether we have sufficient animal welfare programs in place and whether our communities, especially in rural areas, have adequate access to quality veterinary health care services. Under Republic Act 7160, or the Local Government Code, the delivery of the veterinary services to the communities has been devolved to LGUs. However, the Local Government Code, RA 7160, mandates that only provinces and cities should have their own veterinarian officers. Hence, there's a reported shortage of veterinary personnel in municipalities, and many veterinarians are actually unsung heroes because they have been working tirelessly with inadequate resources. On the national level, the responsibility of ensuring animal welfare falls under the purview of the Bureau of Animal Industry, or BAI, a staff bureau of the Department of Agriculture. However, the effective and proper implementation of animal welfare laws is hindered by the BAI insufficient budget and lack of permanent personnel. Furthermore, it is without direct control over regional and local veterinary services. Mabuti na lang, Mr. President, may ilang mga animal welfare organizations na handang tumulong at magboluntaryo ng kanilang serbisyo sa iba't ibang munisipyo. Foundations and NGOs such as Biyaya, CARA, PAWS, AKF, Animal Rescue, Potion Project, and PETA rescue animals suffering from abandonment, abuse, or injury, or neglect. They house them in animal shelters and provide care while waiting for their potential adopters and fur parents. Marami ito volunteers. Hindi nagbibigay ang gobyerno nga ng pera dito eh. Pera nga nila eh. Katulad nung kay Rina Ortiz, kasama rin ang mga iba't ibang mga NGOs. Kay Miss Kuuning. Biyaya went as far as Pag-asa Island in the West Philippine Sea to provide kapon services to the stray animals there. Meron yata tayong video dyan. Walang bayad po yun, ha? Ang sabi nga ng mga taga-Biyaya, ito.
Maraming salamat po. The dogs of Pag-asa Island in the Kalayaan group of islands wish to thank you.
Nagdala rin sila ng mga pagkain. Mr. President, just watching that, diba? Imagine the effort to go there, and this is done privately. AKF has led a launch campaign against the dog meat trade, while PAWS has successfully pursued legal action and secured a number of convictions against animal officers. PETA and Potion Project or People for Ethical Treatment of Animals helped rescue and care for working horses and other animals that were left behind when Taal volcano erupted.
Kaya kami po nakukonsensya kahit hindi amin, kaso wala kami magawa, inuna namin yung sa amin. Kaso inabot na katulad kanina, hinaharang na uli. Paano pa namin sila matutulungan?
Project-sponsored Break for Animals in cooperation with the MMDA to prevent roadkill and injury to all our furry friends who cross the roads. CARA continues to educate and disseminate information concerning animal welfare, animal care, animal control, and other animal-related concerns. On the other hand, corporations like Mars Pet Care share their scientific expertise with government agencies to advance pet food standards in the country. Mr. President, isa din yan sa ating itutulak later on na magkaroon din ng standard kung ano ba talaga yung tamang nutrition para sa mga aso, hindi yung kung saan-saan lang nagbebenta ng pet food na hindi natin alam kung paano ang production at ang source. On the other, however, we cannot rely on individual efforts alone. Rather, a whole of community approach is necessary on the part of us policymakers. Our job is to beef up our laws on animal welfare, which will establish a respectful coexistence with animals by improving their living conditions. In response to this situation, I proposed a law, Senate Bill number 2458, to be known as the Revised Animal Welfare Act. The original law, Republic Act number 8485, as amended by RA 10631, is considered a landmark in legislation. The founders of PAWS led the lobby for its passage. Today, we seek to strengthen this law. Our bill seeks to improve the capacity of the Department of Agriculture in addressing animal welfare issues through a proper bureau, which will be given sufficient budget and permanent personnel. This will enable them to be more effective in implementing and enforcing policies. This bill shall firmly establish standards geared towards engendering responsible pet ownership, as well as ethical behavior and accountability from all those who have control over or provide care to animals. As such, the bill has more stringent penalties for violations of the Act. Furthermore, the bill creates a Barangay Animal Welfare Task Force, which will enable local officers to address the animal welfare issues with dispatch. Perhaps the DILG might consider this as one of the metrics for awarding the seal of good governance to a municipality. Finally, Mr. President, recognizing that the urgency and enormity of the situation call for all hands on deck, Section 11 of the bill provides that the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture shall deputize animal welfare enforcement officers, all volunteers who have undergone the necessary training. I would like to end the speech with a few heroic tales. There was a dog named Hugo who lived with his human family in Panabo City, Davao. Hugo had successfully defended his family from snakes that morning. Beside him was torn pieces of the Samar cobra, a highly venomous species of spitting cobra. Hugo died defending his home of 7 years. Meanwhile, in Zamboanga, Kabang, a stray puppy, was adopted by Rudy Bungal. One day, Bungal's young daughter and her cousins attempted to cross a busy street. Seeing an oncoming motorcycle, Kabang jumped in front of it, shielding the kids, but suffered extensive injuries on her snout. Kabang's story caught worldwide attention, and this dog was honored for her heroism in a Philippine stamp. Thus, the prospect of life without animals by our side is a sad and lonely one. With that, Mr. President, I would like to end my privileged speech with a call for the immediate passage of the bill. And I'm glad that Senator Cynthia, the head of the Committee on Agriculture, has already met with our advocates. And in fact, she has a farm, and she also has her own pound for stray dogs in Las Piñas. Her son has, I don't know, 20 dogs. I know that she'll be very supportive. I would also like to thank the animal welfare organizations, in particular, Ms. Rina Ortiz of Biaya. She was the first one who actually went to our office, because I've been really seeing it on many social media pages, and I've been already pondering how we can help them, and I'm glad that many organizations had reached out to us. Attorney Heidi Kagiwa of AKF, Ms. Nancy Kuunying of CARA, Ms. Malu Perez of Potion Project, Ms. Jana Sevilla of PITA, other individual advocates, representatives of the Department of Agriculture and BAI, and our city veterinarians, and Johnny Racoma and company of Mars Pet Care, who have graced our halls today. I would also like to thank, personally, some friends who I know have been caring for the welfare of animals. I won't mention, I have Valerie, Joanna, Malu, Chari, Bettina, and many others. And also, of course, the wife of the Senate President herself, who actually is here, Audrey. Thank you so much for being here today. Also, the sister of our colleague here, Anna, thank you. If I forget to mention, all of you are present here today. I really appreciate you showing support. So to end this, by the way, please allow your pets to enjoy the mini dog park that we have set up there. Pero itong mga kasama nating mga aso, masaswerte ito. Marami sa kanila, meron ng kumupkop at mga nag-aalaga. Yung isa nga, sinasabi na pabayaan daw sa kusina, di ba? Pero marami tayong mga aso din at mga iba't ibang mga hayop na kailangan din ng pagtulong ng ating gobyerno at pagkakalinga. Nung ako'y nag-umpisa dito, Mr. President, sabi ko nga, isa sa mga unang bills na tinulak ko ay National Lunch Feeding Program para sa mga bata. Ngayon naman, para sa ating mga alaga. Dahil hindi naman po bumoboto yung mga yan, pero sila po ang mga talagang nangangailangan ng boses natin dito sa Senado. So, yun lang po. Maraming salamat. Meron pong isang video para happy naman yung ating last video. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Grace po for this very special occasion. I'd like to let the sponsor know this is probably an historic day for the Senate. This is the first time that I've seen animals inside the Senate, in a session hall. Animals with 4 legs, ha? Kasi maraming animal na 2 legs. But it's the first time I've seen animals with 4 legs in the Senate. So this is a historic day. And I think, Majority Leader and my dear colleagues, we are going to transfer our home to BGC very soon. I think we should make it a pet-friendly building, right? Let's make it a pet-friendly building where we can take our pets. It's a big, for me, when I saw my dog, my blood pressure just went down so low. I was so happy to see my pets here, my 2 dogs. Aside from my wife. My wife also. My wife does not give me high blood. She gives me low blood, and she makes me relax. I'm her pet, actually. In the home, I'm her pet. Okay, so, Majority Leader.
Thank you. Mr. President, I cannot help but just mention, Mr. President, that a staggering population of stray cats and dogs estimated at 12 million in 2019. It highlights the dire situation that our animal companions face without proper shelter, without proper food and care. So, Mr. President, let me just state into the records of this August Chamber na buong-buo po yung suporta natin doon sa Senate Bill number 2458 ng ating kasamaan, Senator Grace po, ang Revised Animal Welfare Act at sa pagtataguyod ng kapakanan ng mga hayop, Mr. President, yung four-legged po.
Her questions.
Magandang tanghali po, Kong. Kahit po sa camera na lang tayo. Trending lang po kasi ngayon sa social media yung pagkamatay po nung Golden Retriever na si Killua sa Camarines Sur. So, namatay po siya sa pinalo-palo po kasi siya. So, ngayon po may panawagan, even celebrities are calling po na pabigatin na po yung parusa under the Animal Welfare Act. Kasi parang ngayon po 1 year lang po yata and yung kulong, and then yung penalty po na yung fine po is 100,000 lang. So, meron na po ba tayong bill dito sa House? Kasi sa Senate po, meron na po silang pinupush na nasa Agri Committee po. Thank you po.
I think when I was reading on this one, and I believe it was also from the statement of Senator Grace, I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, she has passed, or rather she has filed a Senate bill that calls for the increase of penalties regarding the to amend RA 8485, which is the Animal Welfare Act. But also in the specific Republic Act, I believe that NGOs are also required, or not really, they are encouraged to help in the enforcement of the protection of the animals, be it through rescue or rehabilitation. But let me circle back that any form of animal abuse, and in this case even more gravely, the killing of that golden retriever. Kasi ako, I own 8 dogs, no? And 8 dogs may seem a lot, pero, you know, when you look at... single kasi, kaya maraming aso eh. Pero when you own so many animals that you care for and you really give the attention to, it really hurts, no? As an animal lover, na but yun pa yung ginawa, no? I mean, I'd understand siguro kung tinakot niya para hindi lumapit, no? Or if anything na onting pitik lang para lang umalis, no? Pero to kill the animal already speaks of the motive, no? That there was really an intent to end the life of that animal. So, you know, I think, to me, it is tantamount to I mean, it is murder, straight up murder. It may not involve another human being, pero to an animal who is loved and cared by its owner, masakit din na bagay yun. And if I'm not so sure, I cannot speak on behalf of Congress if there is a bill already to increase, maybe my colleagues can say. But if ever there is, then we'd support it, definitely.
Well, as a animal lover myself, I have 13 dogs. My family and I have 13 dogs. So don't be surprised dun sa mga susunod na congressman pag sinabi nila meron silang 20 dogs, 30 dogs. No, but seriously, kami ng family namin, we have a lot of dogs. And nung nalaman ko po yung balita na yun nga nangyari, siyempre, you know, it's sad and of course it's unfortunate, and it is indeed a wake-up call for us legislators to revisit the law and to find out if it will require stiffer penalties, and when it comes to enforcement, what should be done. Siguro kailangan din natin tingnan kung paano din po natin palalakasin yung mga local government units in enforcing this, kasi sila naman po talaga yung nasa grassroots, sila naman po talaga yung nasa baba. Dapat siguro mapalakas din po natin yung makakayahan ng mga local government units to address, you know, issues such as animal welfare and proper care of animals for that matter. So I do share the sentiments of Senator Grace Poe. My heart bleeds when I heard about the news, and I will support any investigation and legislation to promote animal welfare dito po sa ating bansa.
Well, to add, no, and may just be clarified. Kong Chino, you have 8 dogs. You don't eat dogs, right?
No.
Kasi yung rinig, yun yung rinig ko dito.
I only have 8
8
dogs.
dogs. All right.
Yes. I
8.
don't, yeah, no, no,
You
no, no,
don't
no,
eat
no, no.
dogs.
Yeah. Dagdagan ko na ng isa para hindi na
Yeah. Anyway, kung si Kong Chino may 8, si Kong JJ may 20, eh ako po may wildlife, may animal zoo. Okay? Hindi, joke lang. Anyway, yes, I think it would be the best time for us to revisit this Animal Welfare Act. And as mentioned, tama po, the maximum penalty of imprisonment for the violation of for instance, a killing of an animal is 6 months to 1 year of imprisonment with the penalty or a fine of not exceeding 100,000 pesos. But then again, I would like to address also another issue. I guess the lack of awareness of the people that there is a law, there's an enabling law that protects the animal welfare. So I guess that should also be addressed by the local government units, by the barangays, and the NGOs. And that is why I urge the Philippine Animal Welfare Society to look into this matter, because ang nakikita ko kasi dito is the end does not justify the means. Although sinasabi po doon sa balita na ito daw po ay nangangagat, namimerwisyo, pero hindi naman po tama na dapat umabot tayo sa punto na patayin mo yung aso. So kung may mga kailangan gawin, we can also ask the assistance of the local government unit, the barangay officials, etc. Huwag po tayo aabot dito sa karumal-dumal. Kahit animal po yan, mga alagang hayop, may mga damdamin din po yan. So again, let's also intensify the awareness that there is a law that punishes for the cruelty, for any kind of violence na ginagawa ho natin sa ating pong mga alagang hayop.
Thank you po, Kongs. Last question na lang po on my part.